Okay, hello. Ooh, that mic was way too close. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Aphrodite. This is Aphrodite's house, and I talk about everything metaphysical. I talk about the healing process. I talk about life in general, and just how spirituality has the potential to change your life, shape it, expose you to many things like that. So thanks for coming back. So it's jumping, it's live in here. I've got all sorts of cleansing going. I've got my deities in here. I've got my spirit guides in here. Today's just today. We're going. We're doing it. Okay. So today's topic is actually one I talked about a while ago, but I don't know if anyone watched that video because I don't think I tagged it properly or categorized it properly. So it probably didn't get many views. But in my world update video that I did last year, I talked about fake spiritualists being exposed for the fact that they were in fact fake spiritualists, which is always fun, right? So here we are, and I'm going to continue on this topic. So I put a trigger warning in the beginning, but I'm going to just say one now. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about things like death. I'm going to be talking about things like mental health and mental stability. And if those things coupled with spirituality in the same format make you uncomfortable, this might not be the right video for you. And I would suggest that you click out. I'm going to sit here while the energy kind of cleanses and becomes a little lighter, and give you time to decide whether or not you feel comfortable with this topic. And if this is a conversation that you're really ready to sit down and hear. Yeah. And if this is a conversation that you feel ready to talk about, let's go. I'm going to give my input on these situations, what Spirit's been telling me. You can leave your input and insight in the comment section. We can open up a discussion. Let's talk about it. I want to just give those people a moment to decide whether or not they're going to click off. So I'm going to just stand here and, let the frankincense do what they're doing and give you a chance to figure out what you want to do. You might also hear my fan in the background. Even though it is the middle of winter, I prefer to keep my room at a specific temperature. Otherwise, I just kind of overheat. Yeah. The beauty of trying to get your body, mind, and spirit together, right? When it comes to the body part. You got to fix it from all sides. So I hope you're having a great day. Okay. Well, that should have given them enough time to close out if they really wanted to. So I'm just going to start off. I guess it might come off heavy. It's just brutal honesty. Spirituality is not for the faint of heart, and people aren't joking when they say that. People aren't joking when they say that starting your spiritual journey it's not easy, and it is not for everyone. Not everyone is meant to walk a more enlightened path. Now, what I will say is everyone is entitled and allowed to know themselves and know about themselves and grow. That doesn't mean that you have to dabble in spirituality in the terms of performing rituals, getting into hoodoo or voodoo, or any type of you don't have to jump into any type of religion or what's that other word I want to look for? Not religion, not cult, but you know what I'm talking about. Just tribe of people doing things. You don't have to always get involved. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to particular practices based off of, nationality and race. So I'm just collecting my thoughts because Spirit was really jumping earlier, was really talking to me about this topic, and I was too tired to film, so now I have to wait for it to kind of catch back up with me. I didn't forget what I was told. It was just so much information that I was trying to process it. like a mini computer, and it just didn't work the way I wanted it to. So now it's coming out in jumbledness. Spirituality. This is what I was told. Spirituality should never be the catalyst for you wanting to take your life. We have so many young people who are jumping headfirst into spirituality with no help. And I feel like they feel like they're drowning, and they're running to these people who don't know shit to help them. And these people who don't know shit can't help them because guess what? Ding, ding, they don't know shit. Like I said in my world update video, fake spiritualists are going to get exposed because a lot of people were copying and pasting predictions. They were copying and pasting messages from source, from actual people who are divinely tapped in, who know what they're talking about, who took the steps to get where they are, or it's a bloodline tradition, meaning like their mother or their mother's mother, going back to even the fathers, taught them these things growing up. You can't replicate that kind of divinity. I don't know why people keep trying to. It's not... The situation itself is not funny. It's the fact that you tried to steal someone else's grace. You tried to steal someone else's divinity. You got popular off of it. And now these people are really asking you for help because they're drowning. Because ding ding, you let them drown. And now you want to be like, I don't really know. I can't, I'm not a doctor. I can't, I just, shut the fuck up. I mean, my ancestors are really pissed. Can you tell? When the path is not meant for you, it is not meant for you. Short-term gain. That's what Spirit keeps saying, short-term gain. You're going to get everything you wanted, the popularity, the notoriety, for stealing someone else's work. And then guess what? You're going to get fucking outed. I keep telling these people, you can't get out here and speak for someone else and speak on source and speak on these deities and say that you were doing this, that, and the other thing and not expect to kick back and not expect to get donkey punched in the fucking throat. You thought what? You were going to sit here and live a happy life? I mean, Spirit said don't hate. Hate that's an energy you need to be saving up to utilize for something else. We're not going to give it to people who are undeserving of any of our overall emotions, which as a deeply rooted empath is very difficult for me because I can feel the greed, the level of nauseousness I feel when I tap into these people is ridiculous. The level of, well, it's okay, it's not really my responsibility, I was just passing along the message in the first place, that I feel when I connect to these people makes me sick to my fucking stomach. We have to, as the older generation, and probably one of the last generations to be able to receive the proper knowledge, we have to help the younger generation get there. They can't be out here mentorless. They can't be out here unprotected, believing they're divinely protected because they left an offering for Aphrodite and Zeus and this and all that, and so I'm protected. Half of you didn't do the invocations for these deities. Half of you, well, okay, let's split this up because it's not just halves. Some of you are working with actual deities. Those would be the ones who took the steps, do the invocation over the number of days, do everything that they were supposed to do, got the confirmation, Others of you just kind of wandered into this, jumped face first because TikTok told you to, and you thought it was a great idea. Ding, ding. I hate to break it to you. A good number of you might be working with tricksters if you didn't do the proper invocation. That's just what it is. You didn't check. You didn't have someone else check for you. You didn't do the things you were supposed to do. And you're leaving offerings, so they're going to keep coming back. You know what I mean? They're going to make sure your home is chilling because that's where their offerings are coming from. Otherwise, when the rest of your life shambles into chaos and you're confused as to why, don't be confused as to why, The trickster energy got what it came for. You left out all of these beautiful items, these beautiful things, a mirror, water. You left open all these portals, you left open all these doors, you left open all these conduits, and then you're confused as to why your house feels so heavy with energy, but nothing is shifting and nothing is changing. That's why. And then the rest of you just speak on deities like you work with them, like you know anything about them. Y'all are sending people into spiritual psychosis. You are sending these people into deep chaos. These people are not attempting to ascend, and they're definitely not descending to learn more about themselves and to learn more about their power and to grow. They're just spiraling into madness, into pure chaos. Anytime you do any sort of spiritual work, it is an investment on your life. You are going to have to spend money. Now, I know what you're thinking. I'm a baby practitioner or baby spiritualist. I'm learning. I'm building up. I don't have the money to do this right now. That's great. Spirit said, if you can't afford this right now, don't touch it. If you can't differentiate these things right now, don't touch it. If you have to question these things 5, 6, 7, 8 times, don't touch it. Just keep your hands off. I feel like a lot of people's ancestors have been smacking them in the back of the head like, I just told you not to touch that shit. I just told you not to touch that shit. You think you know better than me. Suffer the consequences. Okay? And I'm sick of people thinking your ancestors will protect you from anything and everything. If they want you to suffer these consequences, you're going to suffer these consequences. Especially some of y'all whose grandmas really sit there shaking their heads. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Your grandma comes through heavy, and you know it, and you ignore every sign because you know she finna whoop that ass. You know that if you were on the other side right now, she would be grabbing you by the ear, or whatever, pinching you underneath the arm, talking about, I told you not to touch that shit, and you thought it was funny. And you prayed for 3 days, 3, 4, 5, 6 days, asking us to remove the blockages that you put on yourself because you don't know how to not touch what doesn't belong to you and what's not ready for you. Spiritually, we are drawn to the things that we are supposed to get involved with, the deities we're supposed to get involved with, things that we remember from past lifetimes and maybe even have seen when connecting with, future versions of ourselves. That's great. That's so beautiful. Guess what? Just because you see it and because it is meant to be a part of your reality doesn't mean you're ready for it at this time. I have been called to so many things that, guess what, cost money. So guess what I'm not going to do until I have the funds? Deep dive and get emotionally connected and obsessive over something that I know is not attainable to me right now, but will be in the future. That's when I need to be focused on it in the future. When the funds are there, when I'm grounded properly, when I've spoken to the right people. I've spoken to my shaman. I've spoken to my ancestors. We've had this meeting. We've sat down. I've taken the proper notes. I know what I need to do and what I don't need to do. I know who is being switched out potentially, who's coming in now, and who's attempting to come in to do this, that, and the other thing for my gate and for my spiritual protection, and who's, transporting me here and allowing me to connect to higher up realms over there. You need to have all of this knowledge before you go knocking on anyone's door for anything. And, I talk a lot about higher realms, lower realms too. Did you really think you were going to call on a demon and they were going to show up the first time and do what? Demons have invocations too. And guess what? You have to do them perfectly or you're starting over. I'm talking about, I don't care if it's the 5th day of you doing an invocation. If you get it wrong, if you get a word wrong, guess who's starting over from scratch from day 1? You. And if someone answers even though the invocation wasn't done right, I would be looking into who was dumb enough to answer for someone else, because not only are they tricksters, but they're saying that there's someone who is up on a higher level than them. Yeah, that's terrifying. You know, not because they're demons or darker energies or, you know, whatever, but because they were bold enough to step into the space and pretend to be someone they're not. If they're willing to do that, what are they willing to do to you? The point being that I'm realizing that a lot of spiritualists are going to be called to hold free mentorship classes at some point to kind of really talk to the younger generation about things that they need to be working on. Because I get it. Like, we say this stuff is the older generation, meaning like late 20s, early 30s. And then the younger generation, like late teens, early 20s, is like, I hear you, so educate me. And then a lot of us go, well, our time is money. And it's because time and energy, well, energy in general is one of the most precious things that you have. And so a lot of people just want to get paid for utilizing that energy, for sharing these practices that were passed down to them. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I do the same thing, especially if it's someone who continuously comes to me. At this point, just purchase a mentorship and we can go through this step by step, what I know and what I have learned and my experiences, and see how they cross align with what you've got going on or what you wish to achieve. But I feel like there's this kind of graceland period or like leeway where we can afford to give out some information just to keep these babies on the right path. Because if they really cannot afford it, then we need to do something. I don't know if it's free classes on Fridays, brunch on Mondays with the spiritual girl. I don't know what needs to happen across the board, everywhere, all around the world, not just, you know, where I am. All around the world, groups need to come together of like women and men who hold knowledge, who want to educate the babies and keep them from sticking their hand in the forbidden cookie jar. You know what I mean? They need that. These fake spiritualists, I'm telling you, they don't care. And a lot of them, allegedly, right? I'm just going to say allegedly because I know how the world works and I don't need anyone else to come onto my platform and tell me that I'm wrong. I'm just letting you know now, I'm not arguing with you. Some of these people have been designed to be that way, if that makes sense. If you get it, you get it. They're designed to push this narrative onto you so that you reach this breaking point, so that you are no longer interested in spirituality as a whole. Because when you do that, you stop where you are. You essentially halt your progression. You halt opening your mind up to higher knowledge that can help you reach your goal. You halt everything. And if the collective in itself is terrified and halted, what does that mean for the collective? What does that mean for the collective if the next generation is terrified and halted on their spiritual progress? What does that mean for the changing of the world? For the alignment of the planet? For the function of us as spiritualists altogether? If everyone's going to start to jump ship and abandon things because no one was teaching anyone properly. And you know, we've got the older generations, you know, 50s, 60s, 70s out here talking about, I'm willing to teach you. I'm willing to do this and that. But everyone wants to be right and everyone wants to be wrong. And this person's right and you got it wrong. And I wish everyone knew that, like, not everyone exists within the same frequency. So everything's different for everyone. Yes, there are some fundamentals in spirituality, depending on the practice, that are just the fundamentals. There is no changing that. Across the board, it's just not happening. But when you're on a different frequency, you are asked to perform things and do things a little differently than if you were on a lower frequency. The way that I like to think about it in those types of spectrums is like a protection ritual. When you're on the lower spectrum, sometimes you just light a candle. When you elevate, maybe you figure out how to write a petition with a sigil on it, a protection sigil. Maybe you figure out how to dress up this candle very specifically, and then you light it. You elevate on that, okay? Now you go to maybe 7-day candles. You're trying to figure out how to get that 7-day candle to burn, trying to figure out how to read the wax. Then you elevate from that. You know, it's been working for me. Now I want it to work for everyone that I love. Now you've got like 50 candles burning and some rice. You know what I mean? You got the mirror going, the salt circle. Every candle is dressed to perfection. You know what I mean? So you just, it goes, it goes up and up and up. And that's why some people do things one way and some people do things another. You know, and it also depends on your lineage. Understand that too. Know your lineage, know your DNA. Take an ancestry test, DNA test, do it. Know your ancestry, because when you start to see that, a lot of that shit aligns. A lot of it. You start to wonder why you want to burn particular joss paper, you know, with particular people on the front. You take a DNA test and all of a sudden you see a fifth of your ancestors come from here, and you don't maybe pay enough tribute or respect to them, and that's how they get it. You know what I mean? It was the knowledge was in there, but you didn't know you knew it. So, you know, just as I'm talking, the energy is very high in here, and everyone seems to be pretty happy, and so I'm happy, which is great. But Spirit is just reiterating that fake spiritualists are going to continue to be called out left and right, so do not be surprised when your favorite, yes, that male or female who you favorited every TikTok, they were funny, turns around and goes, well, I can't help you. I don't know. Like, I get it. We have to say we're not doctors. We're not psychologists, you know, for the sake of one's physical and mental health. Even I, to this day, who is terrified of hospitals for very good reason, will tell you that along with what I'm sensing, I believe you should see a doctor for confirmation, for, you know, extra information. While I am divine, while I have divine grace and light, which you can probably see all around me at this point, you can probably see my aura, kind of, I'm still living the human experience, which means, ding, 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 depending on which path you take, I, in your eyes, could be wrong, meaning that I got an answer based off a certain path you were on, and if you switch, it could be different. And now you're upset at me because you think I gave you false information. That's the beauty of multiple timelines and tapping into several frequencies at the same time, trying to read through the multidimensional facets of it all. It gives you a headache after a while. Even people like myself, so people who have that innate ability, you know, we have to, you know, say that stuff for your sake, for your mental health, for your stability. You know, I'm just a reader, and that's okay that you want my support and that you want my help. I'm here to give it to you, but maybe you should talk to XYZ. You know what I mean? But these people are just like, they will give you any sort of advice that they can give you, and then after it's all done, after the trash is done, after they have managed to fuck up your life, they don't want to take accountability or responsibility. So now it's, well, I'm not a doctor. I said it was in my when you booked with me, it was in my bio, it was in my, you know, I'm not legally responsible. Shut up. Shut the fuck. Just shut up. Spirit says just shut up. They're ready to clap. I'm telling you, by like March, it's going to pop off. By like the end of March, so many things are going to pop off. It's ridiculous. It's just so ridiculous. But this is what I've got for you today. This was kind of a conversation that we needed to have. Spiritualist to spiritualist, or spiritualist to baby who's learning, you know, whatever the case may be. Yeah, I'm just trying to bring some insight to the situation. Like I said, I put a trigger warning in the beginning of this video just for this exact reason. So yeah, but I'm hoping that even if 2 people watch this video, it touches you, it resonates, and you get what I'm saying, and you understand what I'm saying, because we need to protect these babies. We need to protect the next generation. And I speak on that from knowledge. I speak on that from having to practice these every single day with my own tribe. We need to protect these babies, these younger generations, before they fall into the pitfall and cannot get out and it's too late. So if you like my video, please like, share, and subscribe. If you think that this would resonate with someone who's going through this, or someone who had gone through this or is trying to come out of this, please feel free to share it with them. You're not alone. We all go through the sort of pitfall of confusion and jumping in the wrong end. That's why it's important to have someone who can help you. It's okay to need help. It's okay to ask for help. You're definitely not alone. I promise you. I definitely promise you. But yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, and hopefully the next one will be more of a Moldavite astral projection updatey type of thing. I've been kind of just breathing and trying to course correct myself. So yeah, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.